Hey there YouTube, welcome back to my channel. I'm Ivan and today I am back with another And Just Like That review. Today we are doing episode 8 titled Bewitched, Bothered, and Bewildered. Let's get into this episode because we have a lot to cover and I have some things that I gotta get off my chest. First things first, justice for Steve! And just like that, did it get worse? Well, not really, but it didn't get any better. Let me stop. And just like that, we're stuck. That's what I feel like, and I'm gonna tell you why in this video. If you guys haven't noticed, definitely stick around to the end of my videos. The end of my videos always have some sort of like rant or like, you know, like opinion, not so great popular opinion. If you're here for that kind of content, skip to like the end of the video for my rants. I like to keep things optimistic and positive and upbeat in the beginning, but towards the end, it's just like, sorry, the gloves are off. But I thought it was really cute. It definitely had its moments. I do feel like we're a little bit stuck in the series right now, and I'm very, very curious as to how the writers are going to bring everything full circle in the last 2 episodes. There's so many ends that have to be tied. One of the things that I really, really did love about this week's episode was that Carrie goes back to the past. We get to see lots of old-fashioned classic pieces. She's archiving them, and we also get to meet a fun new neighbor that's reminding Carrie of like the old her. It's like the new, younger Carrie is back in town, and I really did enjoy that aspect of the show. So in this week's episode, we actually kick off the show with Che opening up the show, and Che's on stage. It's like a gay pride event. Miranda's in the audience. Che's on the mic saying how everyone should be living their truth, and if you're living your truth, you're part of the revolution/evolution. Then she makes like a joke about like, thank you so much for coming out and supporting, even though it's like, you know, really bad weather and it might be raining, but you know what? The rain's not the only thing getting her wet. Che's giving this motivational, inspirational speech at a pride event. Miranda's in the audience. Brady is there with Lisa, and Miranda is like trying to sneak off, and as Miranda is sneaking off, Che notices on stage. As Miranda's like sneaking away, Che is like, listen y'all, live your truth. Che's on the mic saying, you have to live your truth. You have nothing to hide. That hiding isn't the key to anything, which, you know, we're gonna get to that in a bit. Miranda ends up walking up to Che and says, got us some iced coffee. And Che's like, yeah, thanks. What was up with that? Like, I saw you sneak away. Like, what's going on with that? And Miranda's like, oh yeah, I saw my son. And they don't know about you. Che's like, they don't know about me. Miranda's like, they don't know about me. They don't know about us. They don't know, nobody knows. Che's like, what do you mean? So your son doesn't know that you're like in an open marriage? Miranda's like, I wasn't in an open marriage until you. We've been sleeping together for the last 3 weeks, and you leave my bed every night and you go back home to your husband. Your husband, like, what, he doesn't know where you're coming from? Like, you're just like, I'm not like about that life. Miranda's like, it's complicated. Like, you know, we probably should have discussed this before. Che's like, I can't continue on with this anymore. And Miranda's like, are you serious? Che's like, yeah, I'm serious until you get it together, until you figure out your life. Miranda tries to apologize. Miranda's like, you know, this is all new to me. Che is like, look, I get it that being queer is new to you, but like lying and stuff like that, like, no. One thing to be queer and new to the queer community, but it's another thing to be like married and lying, and that's just not something that, you know, that they're interested in having or being a part of. Che says they don't want to be a home wrecker, that they're not a home wrecker. Miranda's like, my home's already wrecked. Che's like, thanks for the iced coffee, and like turns around and walks away. Dumps the coffee and ends up taking pictures with like more fans. We are back at Carrie's old brownstone. Well, we're back at Carrie's apartment. Why am I calling it her old brownstone when she's apparently living back in the brownstone? All you see is all these racks of clothing, and it looks like a whole Barney's warehouse according to Seema, who walks in and is like, whoa, what's going on in here? Like, all in amaze at all of Carrie's clothing. They start having sushi. Seema and Carrie really like their sushi. Carrie tells Seema that she's been going through her clothing and, you know, she's reliving her 20s, 30s, and 40s, and this is just all on one rack over here. I was expecting Carrie to like bring up multiple pieces of like iconic fashion items of hers, but we didn't get that in this episode. We did get one major fashion iconic moment from Carrie though. I guess the writers just decided to just get one big staple piece. While I wanted to see a bunch of little staple classic Carrie pieces, they said, you know what? We're just gonna give you the biggest one. The one item that Carrie does end up showing to Seema is her iconic Paris Versace dress. That iconic dress that Carrie wears in Paris, beautiful as ever, and Seema is like in complete awe of it. Carrie's like, I've only worn it twice, one time in Paris and like one time here eating like fluff. Carrie then starts explaining to Seema that Lily, Charlotte's daughter, has been helping her archive a lot of this clothing and getting it all ready and sorted for storage. Seema wants to light a cigarette. Carrie's like, no cigarettes in here because then everything's gonna smell like cigarettes, my hair's gonna smell like cigarettes, and then the smell of cigarettes is gonna make me want to smoke more cigarettes, and right now I have narrowed it down to 1 cigarette a day. I go around the block in my PPE gear, looking all crazy with my Rubbermaid gloves, just so that when I come back home, I don't smell like cigarettes. Seema's like, totally get it. Carrie's like, why don't we go on over to the stoop and we can smoke a cigarette there with you? But hold up, let me check because my new neighbor might be on the stoop. And of course, the new neighbor is on the stoop with some guys, some hot guy. And Carrie's like, girlfriend loves her some stew. So apparently Carrie has a new neighbor downstairs. She ends up asking Seema, like, I just don't understand how this young girl can afford this apartment. She's like always so cool and she's so hot. She always has like one shoulder out. She always has a cool boyfriend. Automatically, I'm already getting the whole theme of this episode with like Carrie revisiting the past and Carrie just finding out who she is today. Carrie's now in bed and the party now starts. Apparently, girlfriend downstairs invited some friends over. They're now on the stoop, you know, laughing, having some drinks, having a good old time, cackling. You know, Carrie's upstairs in bed trying to go to sleep, but she can't because the cackling is really bad. Carrie finally decides to get out of bed, go to the window. She's like, I mean, come on. And they like get all quiet and they're like, sorry, ma'am. Carrie closes the window and it's like, ma'am. Next thing we have, we're back at Charlotte's and we have Charlotte and Harry in the bathroom and they're having a conversation about how Harry needs to be wearing this like fitness ring that Charlotte got for him. Make some references to Big. I feel like one of the reasons that Charlotte wants Harry to wear the ring is because Charlotte feels like, hey, I don't know if you've noticed, but a lot of men your age are developing like heart issues, a nod to like what happened to Big. But of course they don't mention Big because the show is just like deleting everything Big related. Allegedly, I was waiting for the Big reference, but there was no Big reference. But we, the audience, we know what's up. We know what's up. Like, Harry, like, you have to wear this ring. Like, this is connected to your phone already. Harry doesn't want to wear the ring. Harry's like, all right, well, you know, if you want me to wear the ring, like, you know, you're gonna have to make it like a little formal. He said it's like a big commitment. So, of course, I don't know, for some reason, Charlotte tries to be cute and get to her knees and like, it's like pretending to be proposing to Harry. And Harry's like, well, while you're down there, like, do you want to like finish the deal, seal the deal? Charlotte starts just like putting her hands on his pants. Then Lily tries to walk into the bathroom and Charlotte immediately closes the door in Lily's face. She ends up bruising Lily's forehead, comes out and is like, oh my god, honey, I was just like checking your father because, you know, I think that he might have cancer. We also get a full frontal of Harry. We're back at Carrie's and Carrie's still sorting through her closet, again going through things. I was expecting for her to pull something out of the closet. She's in the closet, she's organized, and she has on this face mask on. She has on these like little tiny kitten heels and is on like a step ladder. I'm like, Carrie, that's kind of dangerous, but whatever. She has on like a really bad plaid shirt. I was not feeling this look and I get it, like Carrie's at home, she's cleaning, she's organizing. She has her little face mask on. So Carrie looks kind of crazy, you know, with the face mask on, the kitten heel, the really bad plaid shirt. The door ends up knocking and she thinks it's Lily, but as it turns out, it's not Lily. It's Carrie's new neighbor. So Carrie opens the door, it's her new neighbor. She looks all gorgeous, fresh, and beautiful, all youthful. Her new, beautiful, cool neighbor. And Carrie is there with a really bad plaid shirt and a face mask on, just looking crazy. The new neighbor's like, oh, hey. But basically, the new neighbor comes upstairs because she wants to apologize to Carrie and tell her, like, oh my god, I'm so sorry. Like, we really got carried away last night. And, you know, it's never gonna happen again. Carrie tries to spin it like, oh no, it's totally fine. Like, I'm up late all the time. I write books. So, yeah, last night I was writing and I really couldn't concentrate. That was why, that's why I said something. That's why I popped my head out the window. Because I normally, like, I'm always up late. Neighbor's like, well, nevertheless, I'm so sorry. Next thing we have, we're at the Chelsea market with the girls. We have Charlotte, Carrie, and Miranda. Miranda sits down and starts telling the girls that tonight during their little dessert ritual that she's gonna tell Steve that she wants a divorce. And of course, you already know Charlotte's head is just like rolling her eyes. Miranda says, like, you know, that she can't sneak around Steve anymore. It's not fair to Che, it's not fair to Steve. Carrie cuts her off like, it's not fair to you. But of course, Miranda is like, who knows what the hell Miranda's thinking nowadays. Like, I'm so over Miranda. Justice for Steve. Charlotte doesn't say anything. She's really not trying to make eye contact with Miranda. Miranda's like, what's up, Charlotte? What do you think? And Charlotte's like, oh no, nothing. Like, I'm not throwing shade. Apparently it's what her kids use. Charlotte's like, look, I can't even handle my own life. Like, you know, everyone's meant to do their own thing. Like, you know, just go ahead and do what you want to do. Like, Charlotte starts getting into detail on how she slammed the door in Lily's face while she was about to blow Harry. How she's all upset because she really wanted to have like this open, you know, communication dialogue with her daughter. Miranda's like, wait, what? Like, you still blow Harry? And Charlotte's like, yeah. It's like his birthday. Is he dying? They try to make this like into like this funny scene about like, big deal that like Charlotte still blows Harry. And I didn't really like this bit because it's like, what do you mean? Whatever. Next thing we have Miranda and Carrie, and they're walking through the Chelsea market. Carrie mentions like an old business that's closed. Miranda's like, oh yeah, this used to be there. And as they're walking through the Chelsea market, they're noticing like all the differences and businesses that have come and gone. Carrie starts mentioning how she remembers when she used to be someone else. Again, making more reference points to, Carrie finding herself these days, finding out who she's gonna be going forward now that, she's going through this reinvention phase through her life. For a second there, when Carrie mentions that she remembers when she used to be someone else, I really thought they were gonna, again mention maybe something about big. But nope, Carrie feels bad that she broke the chill the other night. She decides to get her some chocolate. While she's getting chocolate, she mentions to Miranda, like, hey, like, why don't you get Steve like a piece of chocolate? Like, you're breaking his heart. Like, you are literally ripping his entire life apart. Like, get him some chocolate. Miranda's like, how much is it? Carrie's like, man, just spend a couple dollars. Miranda then goes into explaining to Carrie that she's just explaining to Steve what they both already know. Like, they both know that this marriage is over, that they're just dead in the water. She doesn't think she's gonna mention to him about Chase. She's just gonna like kind of mention the divorce first and not tell him that I've met someone. So Miranda ends up also telling Carrie that, like, listen, even if it wasn't Chase, even if Chase wasn't the one that came into my life, I still wouldn't want to be in this marriage. I would still prefer and rather be alone. And then Carrie's like, are you sure? Because like being alone in thought and in reality is really, really different. Are you sure that's really what you want, Miranda? Miranda's like, you know what, you're right, I want Chase. Anyway, you know what? Justice for Steve. I'm just gonna keep saying that throughout the entire video. If they're just like random breaks that say justice for Steve, no longer a fan of Miranda Hobbes. Next thing we have Carrie walking into the brownstone and knocking on her new neighbor's door. She has a new chocolate that she just bought for her. So this guy ends up opening the door. He has on a towel. He's hot. Carrie's like, oh, I'm the neighbor upstairs. You the writer. I just brought her some chocolate. He's like, oh, thanks. We don't eat sugar. He goes to like take back the chocolate, and he ends up dropping his towel. Another full frontal nudity scene. As the towel drops, Carrie's like, ooh, keep it. So Carrie's like, keep it. She walks away. She starts turning up the stairs, and as she's going up the stairs, he's like, sorry, ma'am. Another ma'am, and Carrie's again rolling her eye. Next thing we have Miranda outside of Chase's studio. Chase walking out. Now's not a good time, Miranda. This Uber's taking me to Cleveland. Miranda's like, can we talk? Can we talk? Is it just me? Like, do you feel the same way that I feel about you? Because I have all these intense feelings for you, and I just want to make sure that I'm not crazy and I'm not just like hallucinating and making all these things up to myself. Chase's like, no, I'm in love with you. Miranda's like, oh my god, wow. Her eyes light up again. And Chase's like, yeah, but like not under these circumstances. Miranda's like, I'm gonna change the circumstances. Like, don't worry. Chase ends up saying like, look, I can't give you anything traditional. Miranda's like, traditional. I don't want traditional. Traditional's what got me here in the first. Don't worry. I'm gonna fix it all. Go to Cleveland. Go to Cleveland. Justice for Steve. I'm just not a fan. Next thing we have Charlotte and Lily, and they're at a restaurant. Lily is on her phone. Charlotte is trying to make conversation with Lily. Lily's all distracted by the phone. Charlotte's like, put your phone away. Lily's like, you just had your phone out. Charlotte's like, yeah, we need to spend more time away from our phone. Charlotte ends up noticing that her phone lights up, and it's an Instagram notification. She notices that Lily is getting likes on this new post, but she's like, I don't follow this Instagram account, and what is this picture? It's like a picture of Lily in like fitness gear, like with like, a duck face. What is this Instagram? Like, I follow you on Instagram, and I don't know this profile. What, you have a separate profile? Like, what's up with this? And what's up with this pose? What's up with that face of yours? Please, like, oh my god, that's my phone. That's private. It's a private Instagram, mom. Lily tries to explain like, mom, it's just workout gear. Charlotte has this like mortified look on. Lily's like, forget it, and ends up walking out. We are back at Carrie's apartment, and it's Carrie and Lily, and the phone rings. So as the phone rings, Carrie picks up, and it's like, I bet it's your mom. Lily's like, if it's my mom, tell her I'm not here because we just had a fight, and like, she doesn't know I'm here. Lily's like, I don't want to go back home. Can I sleep over? Carrie ends up finishing up the phone call in the bathroom. Charlotte starts telling Carrie all about like what she found, the fake Instagram account, the pictures, the comments. She ends up sending Carrie the picture, like, what do you think? Carrie looks at the picture and she's like, it's workout clothes. Charlotte, you used to go out with me in the 90s. Like, I used to wear way less. Like, I don't understand the big deal. Charlotte's like, she's 15, Carrie. She's 15, that's a big deal. Carrie's like, this is just her finding herself. I've been seeing her here in my apartment, looking at herself in the mirror, trying out my different clothing pieces, finding self-identity. I felt like while Carrie was talking to Charlotte about Lily finding herself again, Carrie was just talking about herself and how she's really the one finding herself again, kind of just like mirroring to Charlotte. Lily does end up sleeping over. She's laid out in the bed, but Carrie can't sleep. Another night of loud music playing, and Carrie's like, oh my god, here we go again. She ends up going down the stairs. Carrie walks in, party's over, it's just a bunch of empty bottles, neighbors passed out on the couch, there's a candle lit, and the music is bumping. Carrie decides to blow out the candle, turn off the music, and before she walks out, she does see a piece of mail, so she gets her neighbor's name. She gets to finally know who her neighbor is. The next thing we are outside of Carrie's apartment, and she is in her PPE gear, as what I like to call it, and she is all decked out in and these Rubbermaid gloves. She has on several scarves. Really, really interesting outfit. It was definitely a look that Carrie had on, and she is on the phone with Seema. It seems like Carrie did like a bit of a background search on her new neighbor with the information that she got off the FedEx package. So she's telling Seema like all about her new cool neighbor. She's from California. She's a jewelry designer, and like Scarlett Johansson has like been wearing her jewelry, so like she's really cool, popular, and trendy. And now I know how she can afford the good apartment downstairs, right? Like she's like cooler than cool Seema. Like she's like super cool. Carrie, in this episode, another underlying theme of it is that she doesn't feel cool. Carrie does not feel cool, and she's obsessed with her new neighbor because she feels like she's really, really cool. Lisette moved to New York according to Vulture magazine for inspiration and energy, which Seema replied, yep, and to ruin your sleep. Carrie's like, nah, it's gonna be fine. I'm gonna make it work. I'm gonna make friends with the situation. Like, I don't want her to look at me as a crazy neighbor. Don't want to be that crazy neighbor. Lisette walks out of the brownstone looking super fly, and Carrie again gets to see Lisette in a really bad outfit. As Lisette is walking out of the building, Carrie says, greetings. They're back at Charlotte's apartment, and we have Charlotte walking into Lily's room, and she's like, come on, Lily, I want to have a little conversation with you. Lily's like, I have nothing more to say, Mom. It's just a fake Instagram account. I'm just really surprised to be seeing you expressing yourself so freely at such a young age. Like, when I was your age, like, we express ourselves differently. We were a little bit more reserved. And like, I love you. I don't want to shame you. I want to understand you. I want you to be comfortable. I want us to be able to talk about things. So Lily, I really wanted to talk to you about the other day as well. You know what was going on, right? Lily's like, yeah, I know what was going on. And Charlotte's like, oh, do you have any questions on like what was going on? And Lily's like, did you find cancer? Charlotte's all relieved that Lily didn't have to go into the conversation with Lily. And the next thing we have is called Justice for Steve. We are back at Miranda's place, and Steve is on the couch, you know, with the ice cream, and Miranda walks in and is like, hey, do you have your hearing aid on? You know, Steve's on the couch watching his baseball. Miranda ends up sitting down after asking him if he had both of his 2 hearing aids in. I find the other one because I want to talk to you about something. And Steve is like, okay, like, what's up? What you got? I love you, Steve. And Steve is like, this is not good. So clearly Miranda never tells Steve that she loves him. Steve is like, whoa, this is not good. Like, what's going on over here? Miranda's like, can I hold your hand? Steve is like, this is definitely not good over here. Like, what do you want? Like, do you want like are you divorcing me or something? And Miranda's like, I'm not happy. And he's like, oh my God, like I was just joking. Miranda continues telling Steve, I can't do this anymore. And Steve is like, well, what does that mean exactly? He's bewildered. Miranda's like, this is not enough for me. Steve is like, what, like me? Like I'm not enough for you? Miranda says, it's not about you. This is about me. Steve is like, can I have my hand back? We're talking divorce. Because of course they have no kind of like physical, intimate, or emotional connection anymore. It's just like history. Miranda ends up asking Steve, like, are you happy? Like, are you happy with this? He was like, I thought this wasn't about me. Miranda, like, you're the one asking for divorce. Steve also continues on to say to Miranda, like, Miranda, what's happy? Like, you know, like, yeah, I'm happy, but like right now I'm not happy because like you're divorcing me. Miranda says she wants more. Miranda wants more connection, more intimacy, more sex, more Steve. She wants more. Oh my God, I can't say Miranda. Steve's like, I get it, you want more? Miranda's like, what about you? Like, is this enough for you? Like sitting here watching TV, like, is this it for you? Is this what you want? Like, do you just want to be sitting here on this couch until we're old eating dessert? Steve was like, we are old, Miranda. Miranda's like, we're 55, we're not old. Oh my God, I'm so glad that they finally acknowledge the fact that 55 is not old, because I've had that problem with this show the entire time, that I feel like they're just trying to make 55 sound so old. And 55 is not old. But yeah, finally Miranda acknowledges that 55 is not old. That even though this entire time the show has been making us feel like these cast members are so old with Carrie's back and the facelifts, and Steve is still processing. Steve is like, is this really happening? Like, are you really asking me for a divorce right now? Yes, Steve, this is really happening. Steve ends up telling Miranda, like, Miranda, we've been together for a really, really long time, and this always happens where you feel like I'm enough for you and then I'm not enough for you. This is like a repetitive cycle that you and I have gone through. And you know what? I've always been there, and I don't think that I'm gonna be able to do that anymore. Steve is like, we finally come to a place where, you know, we have some stability, where, you know, we go out into the world, we do our thing, we work, we come home, we eat, we talk about Brady. That's married life, Miranda. Like, married life is not always up and down. Steve is talking stability here. That's the whole message that I got from. It's just not enough for Miranda. I don't know if that's the life that I want anymore. And again, just continuing on with saying that, you know, this is just not enough for her. Steve tells Miranda, this is about you because I'm happy, I'm fine. Steve says, okay, whatever, I just want you to be happy, but like, you know what, Miranda, like, I don't know what else you think is out there for you. And Miranda replies, like, I met someone. So the next scene that we have Carrie back at her brownstone, and she picks up the phone. She gets a phone call. It's Miranda. Miranda's calling Carrie from a cab ride. Miranda has this look of relief in her face. She's all excited to tell Carrie that she finally told Steve. Like, I told him, Carrie, I did it. I finally told him. Told Steve everything, that she doesn't blame him. It's done, and that she even told him about Che. Carrie's like, what'd he say? Miranda's like, it's done. The headlines read, he just wants me to be happy. I'm in a cab. I'm heading to the airport. I'm going to Cleveland. I'm going to go see Che. I'm going to go tell Che. I'm in a rom-com, Carrie. Nah, I'm in a rom-com, Carrie. Like, really? Miranda Hobbes telling Carrie Bradshaw, I'm in a rom-com? Carrie rolls her eyes and is like, okay, I gotta go. Bye. Safe flight to whoever this is. Like, who is this person? Like, I get it. Life is all about transforming and evolving. What is going on? Carrie ends up hanging up the phone with Miranda. She has a bunch of books with her. She ends up walking out of her apartment, going down the stairs. And as she's going down the stairs, she hears Lizette and her hot boyfriend arguing. Carrie doesn't know what to do. She's like, oh my God, I'm in this awkward position. Do I go up the stairs? She doesn't know what to do. So Carrie ends up staying like really still, and Lizette ends up kicking out her hot boyfriend. So I guess we won't be seeing any more full frontal nudity scenes from him anymore. Or maybe we will be, because this scene was really, really reminiscent to Carrie and Big's toxic relationship at the beginning of this. Again, I really feel like Carrie was seeing a lot of herself in Lizette, like the youthful girl who's moving into the city. Like, Carrie saw a lot of herself in Lizette. Carrie's like, I used to be that cool girl that lived in this brownstone. Lizette is crying. She ends up going back into her apartment after kicking him out, and Carrie continues to go down the stairs to walk out of the building. Lizette ends up opening the door and comes back out, and it's like, I'm so sorry, Carrie. So sorry, I'm so embarrassed. Carrie's like, don't even worry about it. Like, this is New York dating. Like, I totally get it. Lizette is like, oh my God, you're so cool. And Carrie gets this like little smirk in her face, like, maybe I am cool. And as she's walking out of the building, she says, and just like that, I realized something should never be put into storage. Then we get like the scene of her upstairs in her apartment in the beautiful Versace gown, eating fluff or popcorn or something. I'm confused. I didn't know if that was like a current scene, flashback scene of the second time that she told Seema that she wore that dress. As Carrie was saying, and just like that, she was walking out of the building with book. Weird ending. Didn't make sense to me. This ending did not make sense to me. Again, I'm gonna blame it on Big's alleged scenes being deleted. That's what I'm blaming it on, because that's why I feel like a lot of the show is not making sense anymore. Here we go, and just like that, the show doesn't make sense. Just like that, it's just stuck. I don't know where we're going. Carrie, what are you doing with your life? I feel like the needle hasn't really moved in this show a lot. Like, we didn't get any kind of Lisa in this episode. We also did not get any scenes with Professor Wallace, no Naya scene, and that kind of frustrates me, because it's like we're building up these side characters that we're just getting familiar with. We have 2 episodes left. Like, what is the deal with them? I put a lot of question marks in my notes this week, because, and just like that, I don't know. I just don't know a lot of things. All right, what are they gonna give us next week? I mean, I'm here for it. It's not the greatest show as far as the writing is concerned, but I do love seeing these actors back on screen. The show just feels stuck. Carrie feels stuck. Miranda's the only lost one. Charlotte's story is kind of stuck. I feel like the show's kind of stuck, and I'm a little confused as to where it's going exactly. We'll see what's going on. I'm gonna be here to review the next 2 episodes as well. I'm really excited. This episode also did not have any great fashion. I feel like they downplayed all of the fashion in this episode to just really highlight this beautiful Versace dress. Like, at one point, Charlotte does have on like a cool Chanel sweater, but like, it's not even that cool. It's not even that cute. And I was just expecting a little more fashion. Again, we have 2 more episodes to go. It is really not the greatest writing. It's just not. I cannot sugarcoat that. But one thing that I will be doing is that I will be making the most of the series, and I'm gonna break it all down for you. I did enjoy this week's episode. Good. The show can be bad. I am just one of those people that is going to enjoy the show. It does make me a little sad and disappointed. Some of the new aspects and directions that the show is going in. What do I know? Who knows anything? I'm still enjoying watching it. I'm still enjoying taking my notes, coming here on YouTube, making these commentary videos, and I'm so thankful for you guys supporting this channel. Again, as always, thank you so much for the support. I'm gonna talk to you guys later. Until the next video, until the next scene, until the next vlog, until the next review and commentary. Bye-bye.